First, I got to say thank you so much for doing this interview. I got to thank the folks at Canadian Music Week for being able to set this up because we are right now backstage. We are at the Live Industry Awards happening here at the Sheraton Toronto. And you, my friend, aren't you supposed to be somewhere else in a little while too?
I'm supposed to be performing tonight, yep.
How does it feel, man? Because this has been coming, I mean, it's new, this award show, but it's becoming one of the most talked about and, you know, the place to be during CMW. How does it feel, man, that you're going to be on stage there?
Honestly, until you said that, I didn't know how important it was. I mean, it's exciting, you know. I got a great email from them just asking if I could play one track, and it's definitely a really, really cool opportunity, you know.
I am so happy for you, but I also have to ask you, what's the Canadian Music Week, what's the vibe been like for you so far, too? And also, because we are talking live music, that's a celebration. How important is live music for you, too?
Yeah, live music is so important. It's interesting, I don't find myself going to a lot of concerts, but I play so many shows that it's such a huge aspect of my life, too. And I think it's just something that's so important to be recognized as well throughout Canada like that. And but yeah, so what was the second question you asked me?
The second question, of course, is CMW. What's the experience been like for you so far?
Actually, well, I got in late last night, so I've only had today so far, but it's been a long day, you know, and I mean, there's so much going on here. It's unbelievable how many booths and how many people you can talk to in different conferences. Everybody's willing to just take a second and talk.
But the thing is, though, I mean, you just said you just flew in yesterday. I mean, you're traveling all around. How do you kick it up to get that, that energy out there? As we talk about LIV Live, to get that energy out there so that those fans are knowing, you know what, it doesn't matter what crappy day I've had, you just made sure I had a good time. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes, I don't know, it comes from within, I guess, and a lot of coffee, both of those factors. But yeah, I think it's just knowing that that's what I'm here to do, So if that's the main thing at the end of the day, it's like, then I got to make sure that I'm just, showing up and
I was getting interrupted and said you showed up for this, man, because I want to learn more about you. I want to know about the music you're releasing too. We were just talking before. Originally, you're from Windsor, but I got a feeling people think you're from Europe, don't they?
Yeah, Europe. I get the States a lot, but Windsor is border town. We've had Detroit. I've grown up next to Detroit all my life, and I spend a lot of time there and work with a lot of different MCs and vocalists from there, and just songwriters in general. And it's I think there's something really special happening between Windsor and Detroit that isn't happening anywhere else in the world,
Absolutely, absolutely. What were you listening to growing up? I mean, who are the artists that were influencing you, and how did you figure out that this was going to be your passion?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured it out late in life, I think, compared to a lot of other people. But I definitely grew up listening to such a different range of music. I mean, my dad, my mom listened to so much, from Steely Dan to Smokey Robinson, and
on vinyl, right?
Vinyl and tape. So, and the interesting thing too is that being next to Detroit, we're exposed to so much American music. So just by virtue of the radio being on, you're hearing from R&B, hip hop, to rock and roll, to jazz, to, I mean, everything.
So when it came down to you, like, when did you start figuring out that you were doing that you could write songs? And, because for some people, it's a start of poetry. Some people, they just start singing at birth. What was it for you, though?
For me, I think it was just the act of repetition and doing it and realizing how much of a passion I had for just making music in general, beyond even songwriting. It was just the urge to always want to be creating. So it's been a common aspect in all my life. With skateboarding too, I thought of the same way. I'm an avid skateboarder for the last 20 years, and I think it's kind of goes hand in hand in that way, that there's like an urge inside of me to want to keep making it. And the moment I recognized that, I was like, why am I wasting my days doing a day job when I'm like, I could just better focus all my efforts on music and creating and doing that and making a living from that.
What was your first release?
My first release was a decade ago with a different band I was in. I will leave unmentioned, but then just through the years, I played in so many different bands, and then finally over the last couple of years, I refined it down to my own solo project under Datsunn, and it's been a massive learning journey, and I think that it's one of those things that like I said earlier, I'm releasing so much music this year, collaborating with so many different people, that it's not even about what I've released and when I did. It's what's happening now.
What couldn't you do in the bands that you could do now as a solo artist?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it was like what couldn't I do. I think it was just, bands like any business. Everybody's got to agree on the same thing, and it's hard to get a group of people to agree on that one little thing. So I think that's been the most important step for me, is making the decisions for myself. It forces you to really think about those decisions, as opposed to, you can sort of leave the weight on someone else's shoulders for a little bit, or lean on someone, where this is the freedom of being able to do it when I want it, want to do it. So that's been a huge thing for me.
Now, I got to mention, one of the things I've been noticing, you got a wedding ring on that finger of yours, my friend. How are you handling having a family and still doing this on the level that you're doing it on?
I mean, I've been with my partner for 14 years now. Thank you very much. Yeah, we were married recently, and I think I just recognized early on that when you find someone who supports you enough to really push what you want to do, why jeopardize that? It wasn't like a searching game for me. I instantly knew. I was like, it just made sense. Yeah, man.
I love it. I love it. All right. What I'm loving more is, let's talk about the music, because I wanted to talk about some music you did before, but then you were saying I just dropped some music. Which one are we going to talk about here?
Well, I'd rather talk about the music now, man, because, in January, I dropped a record on vinyl called Familiar Faces. I did an exclusive release in Japan with Sweet Soul Records, which is really cool how they reached out and wanted to license a full record there. And then it turned into me wanting to just release the same record with a few altered tracks in North America and the rest of the world. So I dropped that in February, and then today, on May 10th, Zilly Holiday, an MC from Windsor that I work with a lot, him and I did a collaborative tape, 7 tracks, just dropped today, and I mean, I have projects with Munch from Detroit, Jacob Sigmund, Dan St. Amour. I mean, too many to name right now. I think so much of my time is being focused on so many projects.
Okay, one thing I want to tell people, that they should, if they can, get that Japanese import, because for people who don't look at vinyl, vinyl in North America is thicker than it is in Japan. There's a difference to that, and the sound is a little different too. Can we get the import?
I don't know if you can. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Time will tell.
Okay, well, if people, the collectors, they will get this though, man. Shows, what's coming up in 2019 for you in the summertime?
You know what? I don't have a ton booked in the summertime right now. I was actually backing off of shows a little bit to focus my efforts on working on these projects. It's the first time that I've had several projects on the go at the same time. And it's a lot to balance. And when I don't feel like I'm totally giving my all at a show or something, then I know it's time to just step back for a moment, refocus my efforts, and that's what's happening right now. It's like a lot of music making more than anything, which I think we'll see a lot more of this summer. And I should mention, Familiar Faces, it is available in Canada as a vinyl. I just got 100 made of translucent yellow 12 inches, and they're beautiful. I'm not just saying that, but they're beautiful.
Hey, you know what, man? One of the things I always loved when I was younger, and I'm going to get back to doing this, I loved collecting vinyl in different colors and picture discs. I used to love too, so I'm just starting to hint to you,
Maybe a picture disc on the way. We'll see.
To know everything that's going on with you, man, where do we go social media so we can follow?
Mainly Instagram. It links you to everything. It's interesting how it's not a website right now, but it's kind of my go-to, because it'll link you to my Spotify, my Bandcamp. It shows everything I'm doing and everyone I'm working with.
Love this. Look, man, I don't want to hold you up too long, because you got a show you got to do. Congratulations with the success. Let's do this again, man. And like I said, all the best in 2019.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much, Rudy, for sure.